Story 1. I just needed a place to crash before my big interview tomorrow. A small Airbnb in Willow Creek, where the streets are speckled with dim yellow streetlights and abandoned houses slumped like rotting skeletons. I didn't plan to stay long, just one night. But then, that night, standing in the kitchen, I heard a faint tapping from the basement. Not the pipes, not the wind. A rhythmic tapping, like someone was waiting for me to open the door. I pulled into Willow Creek as the sunset bled into a grimy orange streak across the sky. My GPS chirped, "You have arrived." But all I saw was a dark, endless road lit by flickering yellow streetlights. The houses lining the street looked like corpses, shattered windows, sagging roofs. Who'd list an Airbnb in a place like this? But the house I rented stood out. Crisp white paint, a spotless porch, like a diamond in a junkyard. The host texted, "Basement's under repair. Please don't go down there." No problem. I just needed a bed for the night. I'd barely tossed my backpack on the couch when someone knocked on the door. I opened it to find a girl standing there, her jacket soaked from a sudden downpour. Her hair clung to her face, and her voice trembled. "Sorry, I booked this house too." We checked our confirmation emails. Sure enough, same house, same night. An Airbnb glitch. Probably. The rain was coming down harder, the wind howling like it wanted to tear the night apart. I hesitated but couldn't leave her out there. "Come in," I said. "We'll figure it out." We sat in the living room, sipping hot tea from chipped mug. The girl introduced herself as Emily, a recent grad looking for work in the city. She had a warm smile, but her eyes, they were empty, like she was looking through me. I tried to make small talk, but my attention kept drifting to a mirror in the hallway. It reflected me, the room, and Emily. But in the mirror, she was standing behind me, motionless, staring. Her lips weren't smiling. I whipped around, she was still on the couch, chatting about some movie. My heart pounded. Just the light. I told myself, but unease crept in like a cold draft. Around midnight, I jolted awake to a creaking sound, not the house settling. It was a door. I lay still, listening. The creak came again, sharper, from the hallway. I crept out of the bedroom, the dim glow of a nightlight illuminating the basement door. It was ajar, just a crack, but enough to reveal the inky blackness below. I'd checked that lock before bed. I was sure of it. I stepped closer, meaning to shut it, when a whisper floated up. "Help me." The voice was faint, pained, like someone in agony. I don't know why I did it. Maybe adrenaline, maybe stupid curiosity. I grabbed my flashlight, took a deep breath, and started down the wooden stairs. Each step groaned like it was begging me to turn back. The air was freezing, thick, like wading through a swamp. My flashlight beam swept over stained concrete walls, but the darkness seemed to swallow the light. At the bottom, I found an old wooden door, rusted hinges, slightly open. Beyond it was a narrow hallway, its earthen walls rough, like a tunnel dug by hand. The hallway led to a small room empty, just a filthy mattress sprawled on the floor, a broken vintage camera in the corner, and dried blood stains trailing into the shadows. The stench hit me rancid, like rotting meat. My heart hammered. I turned to run, but slammed the wooden door behind me snapped shut. I rushed to it, pounding, screaming, "Emily! Open the door!" No response. Just the thundering of my pulse and my ragged breathing echoing in the dark. I beat on the door until my hands ached, finally breaking it open. I scrambled up the stairs to the living room. Empty. Emily was gone. Her tea mug sat there, stone cold. I checked my phone, no signal. I ran to the front door and yanked, locked from the outside. How? I pounded on it, shouting, but no one heard. Then I heard it. "Help me, please, faint." From the basement. Emily's voice. I froze, sweat pouring down my face. Something was wrong. That voice, it wasn't Emily's. Not the one from earlier. It was distorted, off-key, like someone trying to mimic a human. I felt like prey being lured into a trap. The whisper came again, now closer, now farther, toying with me. I stood in the dark living room, flashlight trembling in my hand. I knew if I didn't face whatever was down there, I'd never leave this house alive. I searched the house for anything to defend myself. In a kitchen cabinet, I found a stack of old files, pages yellowed and brittle. I flipped through them, and what I read chilled me to the bone. The previous owner, Franklin Ward, was suspected in dozens of disappearances in Willow Creek. No bodies were ever found. A handwritten note scrawled, "Rumors say he built a holding pen under the house for his victims." I shuddered. The basement. I was standing right above it. I forced myself back to the basement, flashlight shaking. The hallway was pitch black, like a mouth waiting to swallow me. I moved slowly, each step a countdown to doom. Then I saw it. A tall, twisted creature, its wrinkled skin like a corpse, crawling from the shadows. Its head lolled, eyes milky white, no pupils. It made a sound half sob, half laugh. And its face, it was Emily. No, a grotesque, warped version of her. I screamed, stumbling back. "What are you?" I spun and ran, slipping on the damp earth. The creature followed, faster than I'd imagined. Its nails scraped the dirt walls behind me. I lunged for a small basement window, clawing to pull myself up. A gnarled hand grabbed my ankle, yanking me down. In the faint light, I saw them behind the creature. Dozens of figures. More Emilys. Twisted faces. Broken bodies. Victims turned into those things. My stomach churned as I kicked harder, desperate to escape. I slammed my foot into the creature's head, using every ounce of strength to crawl out. The cold night air hit my face. I sprinted to the road, waving frantically. A pickup truck stopped. The driver, a kind old man, took me to the police station. I told them everything, but when they searched the house, they found nothing. No creature, no Emily, just an empty, spotless basement, like no one had ever been there. The cops looked at me like I was crazy. Pre-interview stress. Maybe, one said, smirking. They told me to go home. Rest. But I can't rest. Every night, when I lie down, I hear it. A soft, rhythmic tapping from under my bed. Then a whisper, calling my name from somewhere deep. I've moved, changed my number, but the tapping follows me. It knows me. It remembers me. Willow Creek is still out there, lurking in the dark. The house still stands, white paint gleaming, porch pristine, waiting for its next guest. Some doors you should never open. Some things, once you've seen them, you can never escape. And I know, one day, the tapping will stop, the door will open, and it will find me. Story 2.
I needed to escape. After my divorce shredded me, Boston felt like a prison. So I booked a cozy Airbnb cabin in the Vermont woods. The host sent a lock code and a strange note. You'll only need the 2 rooms. The third, just leave it alone. I brushed it off as quirky, but that first night, I woke to footsteps from inside the locked room. Then came the knocking from the other side. My name's Michael, 32, a high school history teacher from Boston, running on empty after my ex-wife tore my life apart. I needed solitude, so I drove 3 hours to a remote Airbnb cabin in Vermont's dense forest. The place was straight out of a postcard, log walls, a stone fireplace, plaid blankets folded neatly on the couch. But the woods, they were wrong. Too quiet. No birds chirped. No leaves rustled. Just an oppressive silence that made my skin prickle. The host, Carl, didn't show up. He just texted. Code's 4832. 2 rooms are all you need. Weird, I thought. But I was here to heal, not to nitpick. The cabin was small but warm. A living room with a creaky couch and a fireplace. A kitchenette with a humming fridge. And a bedroom with a soft queen bed. But down the narrow hallway was a third door, different from the rest. It was painted a dull gray, with an old, rusted padlock that looked like it hadn't been touched in years. Curiosity got the better of me. I tugged the handle. It didn't budge. I texted Carl, half joking, "What's with the mystery room?" No response. I figured it was just storage. Some broken junk left to rot. Old cabins have their quirks, right? That first night, I collapsed into bed, exhausted from the divorce's emotional shrapnel. Around 2 show, I jolted awake. A sound tap, tap, tap like fingers rapping on wood. My heart thudded. Then, footsteps, soft but deliberate, pacing down the hall. I grabbed my phone, its light cutting through the dark, and crept to the front door. Locked. Windows sealed tight. No one was in the cabin, but the sound came from that gray door. I stood frozen, staring at it, waiting. The silence that followed was heavier than the noise. The next day, I tried to distract myself, graded papers, read a book, sipped coffee, but my eyes kept drifting to that gray door. It felt like it was staring back, pulling me in. By afternoon, I couldn't resist. I pressed my ear against the cold wood. At first, nothing. Then, a whisper low, garbled, like someone speaking underwater. I stumbled back, my pulse racing. Was it pipes? The wind? I told myself I was stressed, imagining things, but the whisper clung to me, like damp air I couldn't shake. I called Carl. He answered on the 3rd ring, his voice flat, almost mechanical. What's wrong? I asked about the room, trying to sound casual. A long pause. It's best you don't go near it. Just enjoy your stay. Then he hung up. My stomach twisted. I opened my laptop and dug online. The cabin had a past. It once belonged to Grant Mathers, a recluse who vanished in the 90s. No trace, no explanation. Locals called the place cursed. Airbnb reviews were vague but unsettling. Nice, but creepy. Felt watched. I slammed my laptop shut, my hands clammy. I wasn't losing it. I needed proof. I set my phone against a lamp, recording the gray door. then forced myself to go for a walk in the woods. The silence out there was just as suffocating. 2 hours later, I came back and played the video. At the 47-minute mark, my breath caught. The door moved. It cracked open an inch, then slammed shut. No one was there, but the audio, a voice faint, female, pleading, "Don't leave me here." I replayed it, my hands trembling, the words clawing into my skull. I tore the cabin apart, desperate for answers. Under a tacky landscape painting in the living room, I found a small, tarnished key, taped to the frame. My heart pounded as I walked to the gray door. The key felt ice cold in my palm. It slid into the padlock with a soft click, fitting perfectly. Every instinct screamed at me to stop, to leave it alone. But I'd come too far. I had to know what was behind that door. The door creaked open, revealing a room that felt wrong. Dust coated everything, like no one had entered in decades. A stained mattress slumped in the corner, chained to the wall with rusted iron. The air reeked of mold and something sour, metallic, on the floor. Dark stains, old blood, crusted into the wood. My legs shook as I saw the wall, scratched with jagged charcoal letters. "She won't let you leave." My throat tightened. This wasn't a room. It was a tomb. In the corner stood an old mirror, its frame cracked and blackened. I glanced at it and froze. A woman, pale, with hollow eyes, stood behind me. Her dress was tattered, her face gaunt. I spun around, heart hammering. Nothing. The room was empty. I looked back at the mirror. She was closer now, her lips moving silently. The glass trembled, like it was breathing. I backed out, slamming the door, but her face, those eyes burned into my mind, following me. I didn't sleep that night. The mirror's reflection seemed to bleed into the hallway, casting warped shadows. Around midnight, footsteps echoed not from the locked room, but the living room, slow, deliberate. Then, a whisper, right in my ear. "It's your turn." My skin crawled. I checked every corner, every shadow. The cabin was empty, but the air felt thick, like someone was standing just out of sight, watching, waiting. I went back to the locked room, driven by some sick need to understand. Under the mattress, I found a notebook, its pages yellowed and brittle. Names, dates, all labeled gone. Tenants, stretching back decades. My heart stopped at the last entry. Michael W. June 24th, 2025. Today, my name. As I stared, ink bled onto the page, forming words. "Welcome home." I dropped the book, my vision swimming. This wasn't a haunting. This was a trap, and I was already caught. Panic clawed at my chest, my thoughts fracturing like broken glass. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think straight, only run. I threw my clothes into a bag, my hands shaking so badly I dropped my keys twice. I stumbled to my car, the woods pressing in, silent and suffocating. The engine sputtered, choked, refused to start. The GPS screen flickered, spinning in circles. No signal on my phone. My mind screamed, "This isn't real. This can't be real." I ran back to the cabin for my charger, my heart pounding like it would burst. The front door slammed shut behind me. The lock clicked, Unyielding, I pounded on it, my fists bruising, but the silence swallowed my screams. I barricaded myself in the bedroom, the door locked. My breath ragged, my mind was unraveling. Every sound a threat, every shadow her face. Then the knocking started slow, deliberate. From inside the closet, my stomach lurched. I didn't want to look, but my hands moved on their own, yanking the closet open. Empty, just a small mirror on the back wall. I looked, and there she was standing next to me, her cold fingers brushing my neck in the reflection. I screamed, slamming the closet shut, collapsing against the wall. The cabin wasn't empty. It never had been. At dawn, my phone buzzed, the sound jarring in the silence. A text from Carl. "It's done. You're part of the cycle now." My hands trembled as I forced myself to look in the bedroom mirror. My reflection wasn't me. It was older gray hair, hollow eyes, a stranger's face staring back. The truth hit like a blade. The cabin didn't just trap people. It kept them, turned them into shadows. The next renter would see me in the mirror, hear my footsteps, my knocks. I was the ghost now. I came to this cabin to escape my past, to heal. Now, I don't know if I'm alive, or if I ever left. My voice feels like an echo, trapped in these walls, calling out to whoever comes next. If you ever find an Airbnb with a locked door no one explains, don't stay. And if you hear someone whispering from the mirror next time you rent a cabin, please, don't answer back.
Story 3.
I was done. Done with deadlines. Done with heartbreak. Done with the grind of Portland's gray winters. I needed an escape. Somewhere remote. Somewhere to breathe. I found it on a site called Stay Pure, not your usual Airbnb knockoff. But this listing, 217 five-star reviews, every single one raving about spiritual awakenings, life-changing stays. It sounded like salvation. But when I rolled into Glen Arbor, Montana, the town wasn't just quiet, it was dead. No people, no cars, no sound. And the house, its front door was wide open, like it knew I was coming. My name's Aaron Whitman, 34, graphic designer. Or I was until the layoffs hit. My girlfriend left 3 weeks later, taking half my furniture and all my self-respect. I was burned out, scrolling endlessly for a way out of my head. That's when I stumbled on Stay Pure. The site felt off, too polished, too niche. But this listing in Glen Arbor, Montana, hooked me. Cozy forest cottage, perfect for soul searching, it said. Every review glowed. I found myself here. The house healed me. I booked 3 nights, packed a bag, and hit the road, chasing peace. The drive to Glen Arbor was endless. Montana's highways stretched through pine forests, fog curling thicker with every mile. My GPS flickered, then died. No cars passed me, not one. By the time I reached the town's welcome sign, Glen Arbor, Est, 1887, the world felt wrong. No dogs barked, no birds sang. The streets were empty, storefronts boarded up, their windows dark, streetlights stood dead, and the air, it didn't move, like the wind itself had given up. I gripped the wheel, telling myself it was just a quiet town. But my gut knew better. The cottage matched the photos. White picket fence, wraparound porch, a porch swing creaking softly. But no host greeted me. The front door was ajar, a sliver of darkness inside. I called out, "Hello?" No answer. A strange smell drifted out: sandalwood, lavender, and something heavier, like charred meat. Inside, the place was pristine. Hardwood floors, fresh linens, a loaf of bread still warm on the kitchen counter. It felt like someone had just left. I tried to laugh it off, but my skin prickled. This wasn't right. In the living room, I found a leather-bound guest book on the coffee table. Pages and pages of handwritten reviews, each one intense, almost religious. The fire cleansed me. One read, "I left my burdens behind," said another. They were poetic, fervent, like the writers had been reborn. But the last entry was dated October 2019. Nothing after that. I checked Stay Pure on my phone. Reviews were posted as recent as yesterday. So why did the book stop? My chest tightened. Something was off. My phone had no bars, no Wi-Fi, nothing. I rebooted it, walked outside, held it up dead. Then I noticed the clocks. The grandfather clock in the hall, my wristwatch, even my car's dashboard. They were frozen at 6:17 p.m. Outside, the sky hung in a permanent dusk. Neither day nor night. Time wasn't moving. I paced the house, my pulse racing. I told myself I'd leave in the morning, but the fog outside seemed thicker now, like it was sealing me in. From the bedroom window, I saw someone, a figure in a gray coat, standing in the middle of the street, back to me, perfectly still. I watched for 5 minutes. They didn't move. Then, slowly, their head turned, eyes locking on mine. They didn't blink, didn't wave, just stared. My heart pounded. I threw open the front door to shout at them, but the street was empty. No footprints, no sound, nothing. I slammed the door, locked it, and backed away. My breath shallow. I needed answers. In a small study, I found a map of Glen Arbor, yellowed and brittle, plus some old letters and receipts. The map had a note scrawled in red. Town erased. 1993. Flood. I froze. A flood wiped Glen Arbor off the map 30 years ago. But I was here, standing in it. Another note, in different handwriting. Read, keep the house alive. The door must always open. My hands shook. What was this place? At midnight, a folded note slid under the front door. No one was outside, I checked. It read, "You are cordially invited to tonight's cleansing supper. Midnight. Come ready to shed what weighs you." My stomach dropped. The grandfather clock, silent all day, began to tick, its hands racing toward 12. I wanted to run, but the fog outside was now a wall, pressing against the windows. I was trapped. Curiosity or stupidity led me to the basement. A wooden door at the bottom of the stairs opened to a circular room. Candles lined the walls, unlit but dripping wax. A single chair sat in the center, facing a massive black mirror. Carved into the stone walls were words: "Review through fire, redeem through flame." In the mirror, my reflection wasn't me. It was older, gaunt, blood streaking its face. mouth open in a silent scream. I stumbled back, my scream caught in my throat. The room filled with whispers, dozens of voices, soft but clear. They came from the guest book's names: Clara, James, Evelyn. "It's not death," they murmured. "It's release. Let go. Aaron, be reviewed. Be reborn." Their voices overlapped, hypnotic, pulling me toward the chair. I clamped my hands over my ears, but they were inside my skull. They didn't want me to run, didn't want me to fight. They wanted me to join them. A fire erupted in a pit I hadn't noticed before, flames leaping without fuel. In the heart of the blaze, an eye formed huge, unblinking, staring into me. It wasn't human. It judged me, weighed me, saw every crack in my soul. I ran for the door, but it slammed shut, the lock clicking. The flames grew, heat searing my skin. The whispers turned to chants. "Write the review. Be reborn." I pounded on the door, screaming, but no one answered. The black mirror flickered, and a screen appeared, glowing with the Stay Pure website. A review form loaded, my name already filled in. Aaron W. Awaiting submission. The cursor blinked, waiting. I typed, "Let me go." The screen flashed red. Inauthentic. Try again. The fire roared closer, the eye in the flames boring into me. I couldn't breathe. The whispers screamed now, demanding I comply. I was out of time, hands trembling. I typed what they wanted. This place changed me. I am no longer burdened. I am part of it now. I hit submit. The mirror went dark. The fire died. The door creaked open. I staggered upstairs, collapsing on the porch swing. My phone buzzed. A notification from Stay Pure. "Thank you for your review. 218 reviews total." I tried to stand, to run, but my body felt wrong, like it wasn't mine anymore. Headlights cut through the fog. Another car pulled into the driveway. A woman stepped out, duffel bag in hand. Staring at the open front door, I watched from the shadows of the house, my breath cold, my heart silent. I wanted to scream, to warn her, but I couldn't move. I was the figure in the street now, bound to this place. My job was to keep the door open, to wait for the next guest. I wasn't alive. I wasn't dead. I was the house. If you're scrolling for a getaway and find a listing too perfect, hundreds of glowing reviews, no recent photos, no real address, dig deeper. Check the dates. Check the names. Because I wrote one of those reviews. I told the world how that house saved me, but I never checked out. And the door's still open, waiting for you.